In this mini lecture, we are going to examine the liquidity ratios. So here are our financial statements for DeLeon. Liquidity, when we calculate liquidity ratios, we're determining whether or not a firm can meet its short-term obligations as they become due. So the two measures we are going to calculate are the current ratio and the quick ratio. So I would encourage you, using these formulas and the financial statements for DeLeon, to try to replicate these numbers. So the current ratio, we will take a firm's current assets in a particular accounting period and divide by its current liabilities in the same accounting period. So for DeLeon, for our 2020 estimates, the number is 2.34 times. So they cover their liabilities with their current assets 2.34 times. The quick ratio, on the other hand, in our numerator, we are going to take current assets, but we're going to subtract out our inventories. So that will leave us in this numerator with our cash and our accounts receivables. That figure will then be divided by our current liabilities. The quick ratio eliminates inventories from our numerator because of all our current assets, inventories are the least liquid. So using this formula for DeLeon, our quick ratio is 0.84. So that means that with our remaining current assets, we don't quite cover our current liabilities. And we can see that here is a historical or a time series, a trend analysis for DeLeon. We've got figures for 2018, 2019, and 2020. And also an industry average. The same is for both the current and the quick ratio. Overall, it doesn't look all that great for DeLeon in that their liquidity was at a certain level in 2018 and it wasn't even near the industry average. It dipped by quite a bit in 2019. The hope is that in 2020 that it will recover. So it's expected to improve, but still below the industry average, and its liquidity position is weak. So this begs the question, is liquidity a good thing to have? Absolutely, it is. A firm should be able to meet its short-term obligations or pay its bills when they become due. This might be questionable for DeLeon. But on the opposite end of the spectrum, can a firm be too liquid? Could these numbers be too high? Absolutely. If a firm is too liquid, that means it's probably missing out. It's missing out on some valuable investment opportunities. If it's too liquid, it has too much invested in its current assets. And current assets are very low performers. They have a low rate of return. Rather, a firm that is too liquid should be shifting some of its assets out of the current category and more into the long-term or the fixed assets, because those assets perform better. They have a higher rate of return. it is those assets that are going to produce cash flows over an extended period of time. And we know that that's very important because that affects stock price. And our managers constantly have to be making decisions that increase the firm's stock price over the long run. So, is there a magic number that all firms should hit when we calculate these ratios? No. Again, it's going to depend on what industry the firm operates in. Some industries have a greater need for liquidity, others don't. Go ahead and watch in concept clips. There's a short review on liquid assets, and it'll probably give you a better picture about what we're trying to assess using these ratios.